Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aries. If Aries is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. Okay, here we go. Let's see. What do these tea leaves have to say? And now I will start off by saying I hope you all are doing well. And that the card that I pulled tonight for this reading from the Thoth deck is the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like a big decision has to be made. Something is just kind of built up and needs to be sorted. I feel like there's a breakthrough coming, and hopefully some prosperity on the other side. Okay, this is so interesting because we have an arrow here, and an arrow up here. And immediately what comes to mind is when somebody says what direction is something and everybody points in a different direction, right? There's no consensus about which way to go. So you kind of have to decide off of your own intuition, where do you go? What decision do you make? All right. And I think that this is definitely going to be, and I'm going to pour some of this out so it doesn't move these too much. It's a matter of the heart, although the heart does look fractured right here. So, and you can, maybe we can see it right there. You can kind of see it looks a little fractured. We also have some other hearts though. So I think that there is a lot of love here. I feel like this could be something to do with maybe a spouse, maybe a long-term relationship. It could be somebody that you have been dating, but you are kind of pretty in love with them, okay? Now, this up here, you have to follow me with this. And this is kind of more out of, which I don't always read the super traditional symbols and symbolism as far as like, if you got like a tea leaf reading or tasseomancy or tasseography book, you know, there are kind of some generally prescribed meanings. I mean, that's more for just kind of casual reading, I would say. You can definitely use them, but I don't use them a lot because I like to look at some of the more intricate formations and meanings. But in this case, I saw this and I thought, oh my gosh, I've not gotten one of these in a long time, but it is a money bag. Now, if you are pretty young, you might not know even what is a money bag. It is a bag that would be like used by the bank. And really, how I know about them is because of cartoons, obviously, you know, Looney Tunes and things like that. But just a sack, basically, and full of coins or dollar bills or, you know, hundreds or whatever it is. So I do think that this is about a financial issue. I don't know that that's a good thing, though. I don't think that this is like all of a sudden you're finding out that this person has a lot of money. I think that, and we're looking at this one, we have kind of this trickster looking formation. It almost reminds me of something like Krampus or some kind of like devil trickstery kind of silhouette, right, with the horns here. So even maybe Pan, and I kind of thought Pan because it looks like it's holding a cup, and we know that Pan is kind of like Bacchus, kind of a bit of a partier, you know, a bit of a there for a good time, maybe partaking in some of the wines and such. But I do think that this is going to be somebody who, I don't know if they're tricky in a fun way. I think maybe that they have hidden some of their financial woes from you. Okay. And now if you're married to them, this could be quite serious. Even kind of a, what they call, I guess, in popular psychology or whatever, pop psychology, financial infidelity or financial abuse. And so this is kind of when, you know, obviously infidelity is usually linked to like cheating, you know, having physical affairs with others or emotional affairs. But in this case, it's kind of more where somebody is spending the family money or, you know, racking up debt without their partner knowing. And it's kind of, in therapy speak, I guess, kind of grouped into the same kind of thing as an infidelity. So something like this can be, I mean, obviously devastating, you know, especially if you are going along in life thinking that at least you're kind of doing okay, right? We're all just kind of doing okay for the most part, or trying to get to a point where we're getting caught up in all of that. But then to find out that all of a sudden all this money is owed or gone or whatever, you know, that is, that could be a big deal breaker for some people. You know, on the other hand, you know, maybe you are more understanding. Maybe you had, you know, some idea this might be happening or whatever, you know, or you just understand that this person maybe has an issue. Maybe even like, you know, a shopping addiction, or they're just not good with money, you know, whatever it is, which honestly is not that rare, I would say. I definitely have been in a relationship with somebody who was years ago that was terrible with money. I mean, it was, you know, it was almost kind of, I don't, you know, it was so stressful. It was so stressful. I feel stressed out thinking about it. But, you know, it's something that, you know, what is there to say about it? You find out and it's hard. Now, if you are not with this person, if you are not, I mean, if you are not married to them, or, you know, all of your stuff is linked together. I mean, of course you can live with somebody and not be legally married, but have everything kind of tied in together. It's not that much different from being legally married, of course. But if you maybe are in a relationship where you do live together, or you're just dating and you don't live together, and you're finding out like, okay, I really love this person, I want to maybe have a life with them, but then you find out they haven't, you know, really kind of shared with you before that they have some major debt. Now, this is kind of a little bit different, right? There are so many things in life that do happen where, you know, I mean, the first thing I think of is student loans or, you know, you or have been divorced, right? And all these assets are divided, and, you know, trying to figure out, like, if you own, you know, shared property and have kids. I mean, it's messy. So, it's maybe a little more understandable, but, you know, it's still something that you have to consider. It's something you have to really think about. And I think that, you know, this really, is something that I feel like you're really going to have to do some, deep thinking and some major planning, especially if you decide to, like, go forward with the relationship. You know, it's not the end of the world, of course, but you have to be, you know, kind of, what's the word? I was thinking of, like, mental gymnastics, but it's kind of like financial planning gymnastics, right? And if you have the ability to have somebody help with the planning, that's, you know, it's a big deal. That can help quite a bit. Now, I also see this other figure here. And this seems to be a figure that is standing face to face with this kind of trickster. And if you see, they kind of have the little, not horns that big, but they seem to be kind of mirrored. So maybe, I don't know, I'm not accusing you of anything, but maybe you have some of your own things that you haven't shared. So I think this is something, you know, I'm seeing a little mirroring here. Maybe it's not to the same extent. Maybe it's completely different thing. But I think something to consider before, you know, you go buck wild about something. You know, which you have all the right to do, is to consider that we all have our things that we omit, right? We all have things that happen in our lives at some point that maybe gets a little out of hand and you don't know how to reel it in, okay? And, you know, for me, I understand that deeply because I am in recovery. So obviously, I have addiction issues. Thankfully, I've been, you know, sober for almost 10 years now. But, you know, other things happen. I am a bit of an emotional eater, you know. So that's kind of my thing. I've gotten into cooking, which has kind of mitigated some of that. So I put a lot of that kind of addictive personality, not just in the eating, but in the enjoying making whole foods and doing stuff from scratch. That helps because it's a slower process, right? It slows me down a little bit. But, you know, we all have our things, and we all, you know, so if we can try to temper ourselves a little bit, keep in mind, nobody's perfect. But this, you know, when it comes to the finances, you know, I'll be the first to tell you, for me, it's a big stressor. Okay. Even if I have a little bit of money and I'm set for a while, you know, I still worry about money because I've been super, you know, broke for prolonged amounts of time. I was a waitress for many years. So you know, it kind of, I wasn't like rolling in the dough. Right. So, you know, I can understand, you know, the anxiety that would arise from some situation like that. And I empathize with that deeply. You know, on the other hand, if it's somebody that you really do love, if it's, you know, somebody you're married to, or, you know, have a relationship that is meaningful, this is something that maybe can work on, you know, try to figure it out. Maybe. I don't know. I can't give great advice about that. But, you know, what I do know is that we all make mistakes. We do. And also, just let me say, gosh, how much do groceries cost lately? That's what I was just thinking. I just went grocery shopping. They were expensive. I mean, ever since all the things happened the last few years and like the supply chain or whatever things, you know, everything is so expensive. That is stressful as well. Okay, so we have a person riding on a horse that looks like its head is kind of just gazing upwards. We have some kind of, it almost looks like some kind of smoke or like, you know what, I kind of envision just some kind of magical night creature. And this to me looks like somebody who's all bundled up to cross over the desert, right? And I can imagine riding through the night. Because oftentimes, right, when you travel like arid places that are very hot, they travel at night a lot because it's cooler. And you can't really be out there when it's a million degrees. So traveling by the moon light, right? But also this is just very, very magical kind of imagery. The kind of lone traveler with their, you know, trusted steed and going out into the, you know, just kind of large empty spaces with only basically you know, the guidance of the divine to survive something like that. So you know, I think that you are a survivor. Well, you're talking about an Aries, so yes, you're a survivor. You find a way. You know, you do. You find a way. Now, the decision is, do you want to find a way? Or is this kind of just it? Right? Are you just done with this stuff? I don't know. I think that there's a little magic up your sleeve. I think that, you know, oftentimes I think, especially if you are with somebody who you know well, you know they're not good with money. You know that they're not paying the bills on time, or they're forgetting this, they're forgetting that, whatever it is. And hopefully, you know, you have a little bit of a backup plan. I would not be surprised because, let's face it, Aries are, you know, very resourceful, very kind of, what's the word? Like very particular, but also ready for whatever is coming, right? You have a few different paths you could go down, a few different plans. You're ready and stocked up for all of them, and I think you're gonna be all right. You know, this might be a blip, and you already kind of have been getting ready for this. Now on this one down here, I'm seeing a dog person, and this one looks like another dog person. They look like they're next to some kind of fire. This one is holding something, kind of almost like it is handing it. And for me, this is again kind of the visuals of like a coyote humanoid being, or kind of a coyote priest, and definitely somebody who walks on the fringe of reality, who can cross over into that other place of visions. And so I think that you also are a highly psychic person, somebody who can commune with, you know, kind of otherworldly things, maybe elders, people who have passed, other entities or intelligences. I think that you have a lot of guidance, and I feel like in this situation, it's very important for you to activate that. Trust what they're telling you. Trust your instincts, trust your intuitions. I think that this is going to be a very potent and powerful occurrence. I feel like this thing that is blowing up a little bit with the financial stuff is kind of just the veneer of something deeper happening. And I think it's really just going to be the catalyst for you to go inward and really, you know, muster up that thing that you have that is so alive in you. It's kind of like, you know, when we joke and say the only time we pray is when something terrible is happening, when we're like desperate to get out of a situation or whatever. You know, and I know you probably do pray or commune with the divine more than that, but you know, sometimes we're all guilty of it a little bit. I have gone through periods of my life where I definitely was on totally just living my life, getting through the days, not thinking about my spiritual life as much as I needed to. You know, and when something would go wrong, my car wouldn't start, my light bill needed to get paid, and I didn't know where the money was. I was praying, you know. So I think that sometimes these things can be what bring us back to the source that we need to get in touch with again. Okay, and I think that that's going to be kind of the silver lining here, the blessing. Now, I am seeing a stop sign here, okay? So, I think that partially this is going to be something that you really need to take pause and go over. This is a bit of like a red flag. You know, there's a sign from the universe telling you to slow down and like really, you have to contemplate what this means, what this has to do with you. There's no way around it. Okay, so you might have the instinct to just kind of blow this off as like, okay, we'll figure it out, it's whatever, you know, but I think this is something, like I said, this is like the veneer or the kind of the surface superficial thing that has to do with something much deeper. Okay, so I think that you would do well to investigate the situation. If that means, why did this happen, or what is this kind of tied to, where is this money going, or whatever, or how is this going to lead you to deeper self-work? What are you going to do with this? You know, the universe gives us problems for reasons. Okay, I know that that's I don't want to hear that when I'm suffering. But I honestly, you know, as somebody who has had a lot of problems that I created for myself too, I will add. But somebody who's had a lot of problems in life over the years, I am a firm believer that the universe gives us these problems so we can work on things to get us working deeper and deeper, and you know, knowing ourselves. Even when we just are so tired and so exhausted, so beaten down, you know, we still, that fighting spirit, that glorious light that we all carry within us, it's still there, right? All right, so I want to thank you so much. I'm sorry this wasn't like a happier reading, Aries, but you know, ultimately we all go through things, and I think this is something that you are going to figure out. It's going to be manageable. I just noticed one of these balls is off of here. The cats have been sneaking around my table. And so I just want to ask you if you would be so kind to like the video. It's helping me, us, the channel, our community, which you are a part of, get into the algorithm and reach more people. If you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. I'm on a schedule here where I'm reading for every sign once a week. So between now and 7 days from now, you can watch your other placements. You can cross-watch. Check out some of the other readings. Other than that, please leave a comment. Let me know how you're doing. I love hearing from all of you. I read every single message, every single comment, and I appreciate them all. I really do. Okay, Aries, thank you, thank you, thank you. We will talk again very soon.